Chapter 5: How to be a Great Freelancer. Introduction to Crowdsourcing Sites. Put simply, crowdsourcing is the act of outsourcing tasks to a large group of people or community through a platform. In our case, companies that want a new face for their website post the project details to a crowdsourcing website, and we, as creatives, submit concepts. So designers compete against each other in contests. The contest holder, the one who started the project, thus gets multiple designs for their website, rates, and gives feedback to improve the design. And finally, he selects a winner after a set period of time. Usually a project lasts a week, but it depends on the task and platform. The price for one page starts at $500, and the sky is the limit. I've seen one-page websites go as high as $2,500. More pages means a higher price. Usually contests are held for a homepage or homepage plus 2 other key pages like pricing and our services. Contests have different statuses. Blind contest means you don't get to see the other concepts, so you don't get inspired by them. Private contest means you won't get to see the winning concept since the company doesn't want its design to be public for different reasons. Guaranteed or assured is exactly what it sounds like. The prize will be awarded no matter what. There are other statuses depending on the platform, but these are the most important ones. What are the main crowdsourcing platforms? There are a number of websites out there that hold these type of projects. One of the biggest ones that just got $30 million in funding is 99designs.com. They regularly have about 100 web design projects, so you have a lot of options in selecting your project. Though smaller, close to 99 Designs is crowdspring.com, which usually has higher prizes, but they don't have any limitation regarding the number of pages. On 99, a company can only ask for up to 5 pages in a contest. DesignContest.com, Hatchwise.com, 12designer.com are smaller websites that hold fewer contests, but the great thing here is the competition is very low. Enter a couple of these, and you're more likely to win. Plus, the prizes are not shabby at all. Which one should you use? It doesn't really matter. At this point, gaining experience is the most important thing. I've done 60 to 70% of my projects on 99 Designs, but that doesn't mean you have to do the same. Use whatever feels best for you. What happens if a contest is not guaranteed? Sometimes, due to the large number of contests, some projects are neglected by designers and only a few concepts are submitted. In this case, some companies feel they aren't getting their money's worth, so they request a refund. This happening is quite rare, probably about 5% of the time. If the contest is guaranteed, even though they may not love a design, they will need to select a winner. I've won contests even though there were very few entries, and that's because the company liked my design a lot. So you don't need to worry about that. Just focus on making a great design. What's the entire process? First, you need to select a contest and then read the brief. There you will find the specifications. This includes example websites, some text about the company, maybe some guides regarding how they want their new design to look, etc. Most contests also have some files attached to the brief, like their logo or their style guidelines. Then you get to work, save your project as a JPEG, and submit it. You will have a box in which you can say a few things about your design. Plus, most platforms will ask you if you've used stock photos or not in your design. This is because the contest holder will have to pay for the license of those photos, besides what he paid for the contest. Some may not like that. Submit the concept and then wait for a star rating and/or feedback. Based on that, you can proceed. You can adjust the design, start all over, drop the project, or maybe ask for more feedback. It's up to you. If you win a contest, you'll have to sign a virtual contract saying that you give up the rights to your design, and you'll send over the PSD file with all the layers via the platform. At no point are you allowed to give the PSD outside the contest, since that will cause a lot of problems. An important difference in the process is with 99 Designs. They have a preliminary stage in which the designers submit concepts and then a final stage where the contest holder selects up to 6 designers to work with. If the project has 5 pages, you only need to make one in the preliminary stages in order to get a feel from the contest holder. If he likes your idea, he will let you know, and once you are selected for the finals, you can create the other pages. I got eliminated! This happens from time to time. The contest holder may have so many entries on his plate that he can't possibly spend time to reply to each and every single designer and entry, so sometimes they just eliminate designs. You don't have to get offended. It's part of the job. Selecting the best contests. Selecting a good contest is one of the most important things as a freelancer. Making a good first step is crucial. First, open up a crowdsourcing website and select the category in which you want to compete. In our case, it's web design. Now that we have this category selected, we need to start scanning. First, we'll take a look at the time left in the contest. It's usually a bad idea to enter a competition that only has a few hours left, and that's because you won't have time to make revisions for the contest holder. He may like your initial design, but people always want some elements adjusted. I mostly pick contests that have at least 2.5 days left. Then we should check the amount of competition we're facing. Are there 10 entries or 100? Obviously, we don't want to enter a very crowded project. The thing is, the amount of entries doesn't reflect the amount of designers, since not everybody submits only one entry. Actually, I've seen contests where 4 designers submitted 60 designs in total, and if those 4 weren't that good, your chances would be quite high. So be sure to check the number of actual designers who are participating. On the other hand, choosing a contest with very few entries might mean something is wrong. It may be an inactive contest holder, someone who isn't very responsive, doesn't give good feedback, clear instructions, etc. Or the brief may be too long, complicated, or not written well. What you have to do is enter a project and scroll through the details to see if they're clear or not. Looking for that balance is key, and I recommend that you be one of the first designers that submits a concept. This way you will surely get feedback, and you might make a good first impression, since you'll be the first creative the contest holder sees. Still, inside the brief, you have to check the amount of pages the project requires. If the prize offered is $600 and the contest holder wants 3 pages, that might not be enough money for you. Consider the amount of revisions you're going to have to do as well. As the number of pages goes up, so do the revisions. So select projects according to the amount of work required. When I first got started, I really liked one-page projects, since it allowed me to make a lot of home-page concepts. The price is usually low, about $500, but you can make them quite fast. On the other hand, for multiple-page contests, you already have the base for your design from the first page, so the interior ones will be made according to the style of the homepage. Plus, the price is usually higher. You can tell it both ways. At the end of the day, it's your choice. The brief also tells you what style the company is looking for. You might be very attracted to corporate, conservative websites, since that's what you do best. Or maybe you really like very creative, colorful designs. You have to take that into consideration since every designer has a strong point. Since you're at the beginning of your web designer journey, the best approach is to do them all. You need experience, so don't shy away from different types of projects at first. You get to be picky later on. A very important thing to remember is not trying to impose a style you love onto a design, though the business requires something totally different. If you're making a design for a law firm, rainbows, lollipops, and sunshine might not do the trick, so be flexible. Another important part in selecting a great contest is checking out the contest holder. Depending on the platform, it may show you if he has used this type of service before, how many contests he has held, how many have been awarded, when he logged in last time, etc. For example, if I see a contest holder who has abandoned 2 contests, I might think twice about participating. Or maybe he hasn't logged in 2 to 3 days. That might mean he is either very busy or not interested in his project. Either way, it's not good for you. In case it's his first project, he may not know the ropes, so try and guide him without sounding arrogant. Last but not least, the creatives involved in their star ratings. In most platforms, you can click on the designer's name to see the amount of projects entered in one. If you see a heavyweight that's won 50 out of 200 contests, which means 1 in 4, and he's participating, you might want to look for another project. On the other hand, if you see a lot of beginners with only a few contests under their belt, that might be better for your chances. Star ratings vary very much depending on the contest holder. Some never ever give 5-star ratings because that's just the type of people they are. Others give 5 stars to everybody. It really varies. What's important is the rating in relation to your competition. If everybody has 3 stars and you have 2, you're probably not going to win. If you see a designer with 4 to 5 entries, with 4 to 5 stars, again, it might be good to look for another project, even though he may be a beginner. Not all new accounts have newbie designers behind them. These are my guidelines for selecting the best possible contest. You need to study everything before you enter any contest. This way, you'll maximize your chances of winning. How to work efficiently. Being a successful web designer is simple. It's just not easy. That means there are only a few concepts to follow. There's no real secret, nothing complex about it. But keeping true to those values makes the difference between a winning designer and the rest. Here are the 4 elements for success in crowdsourcing websites: speed, mindset, inspiration, and work. Have these nailed, and it's only a matter of time until you'll start making thousands each month. Speed. You will lose contests, quite a lot of them at first, and you need to realize that from the start and not act surprised when that happens. You will give it your best and you'll love your design, but you will lose most of your contests. A good winning ratio is about 15%, and that's usually lower in the first months. Having said that, it's important you speed up the learning process so you can get ahead of the curve as fast as possible. Push yourself to become faster. Time each project and then bring that time down. Use your hotkeys as often as possible, and use a very fast mouse. That is why you should have a gaming mouse with programmable buttons. You should have it set at least 2000 dpi. That may seem crazy fast for the first couple of hours, but after some time, you'll get adjusted to it and you will be faster. Also, something I can't live without is the Show Desktop button on my mouse. Most mice have programmable buttons on the side, so program one of them to minimize all. You'll see I always use it because I have a lot of windows open, and I need to get to my files on the desktop ASAP. So, speed is one of the most important things, if not the most important. And that's because to be good at something you need to practice a lot. Go faster and that period will go down. So instead of making 10 projects in a week, try and make those in 4 days, and then 3, and so on. The idea is you're probably going to work part-time, like I did, so being pressured by the limited time should force you to work faster. Remember that the start is the most difficult. Once you get up to speed, you will cruise easily. Make a conscious effort and push yourself to work faster. Mindset. You have to be intelligent and you'll have to adapt. Going through project at high speed will give you a lot of insight, but only if you look for it. Try and figure out what the competition did, and you didn't. Process every feedback the contest holders gave you, and try to figure the essence of them all. After a contest is won by a competitor and you didn't even consider creating something similar to what the winner did, go back and read the brief again. Read the feedback again. The key is usually there. Not always, but sometimes we miss the most obvious things. So put yourself in a mental position where you want to assimilate information and learn from your mistakes. The other aspect of your mindset is the ability to brush off those losses. Like I said, you will lose. The best designers still lose projects, so never beat yourself up about that. Usually, a 10 to 15% win ratio is good for a web designer, but in the first period you might have way less. Then your ratio will go up after you achieve a certain skill level. In the last 2 sessions, I've won 4 out of 7 contests, and previously 1 out of 3. A couple of weeks back I did 6 or 7, and I didn't win any. I even got eliminated from 1 and got 2-star ratings on 2. You have to be strong mentally and understand that this is how it works. Stick to your principles, be intelligent, and analyze what you're doing right and wrong. If you've ever watched top poker players, you've seen they're not fazed at all when they lose huge pots in unlucky circumstances. Sure, they got unlucky. Sure, they deserve to win. But you don't see them blow up every time that it happens. What's my point with that? You have to be professional. The faster you understand that this is a job with certain rules and possibilities, the faster you're going to get better. You're going to design something that seems amazing at the time and get a 1 to 2-star rating and little or no feedback. Some contest holders might even eliminate your entry without saying anything. Should you start screaming in the comment box? Should you spam or threaten him? Should you say he knows nothing about design and that God has enlightened you with the golden mouse of Photoshop? Of course not. Let things slide. It's not going to change his mind, and it won't do you any favors with the community, and overall, it's just not good business. But you know what good business is? Reusing that design you've just made. My mindset is the following. If I made a great design, or maybe even a couple of great elements like a menu bar or a slideshow, and then the contest holder doesn't like them, that's totally fine by me. There are tens and hundreds of contest holders out there that would love such a design or menu. Consider this. If you don't win, it's still your design and you can do whatever you want with it. So you can adjust it and submit it to a new contest, and it only takes a few minutes. This is why this type of work is so good. You're constantly building up experience, but your portfolio is growing as well. As time goes by, you will realize that the design you previously considered amazing now seems average. That's because you'll get better and better as you work, and you'll have an entire case of projects to take inspiration and elements from. As you start rolling in projects, everything will become easier. You'll be faster, have more experience, more resources, and more projects. This is the beauty of it, and this is why I'm so excited about this line of work. So you see, the bad parts, when a contest holder isn't sure whether to choose you or the other guy as the winner, so he asks his 60-year-old mother for an opinion, those things don't stack up against the reward of this type of work. Inspiration. After you've read the brief, you might have some ideas about how the design should look. What I recommend is you go find some inspiration on the internet. You have so many galleries of amazing designs that it would be a shame not to look at them. Go find a design that fits the brief. You're looking for a layout first and foremost, and not design elements. So we aren't looking for a design to copy, we want to see how we should lay things out. I consider this step very important because beginning designers usually have very big ideas, but lack the technical skill to achieve those results. Sure, a 3D effect with a wraparound and a drop shadow might seem like a good idea in your mind, but what's important is what you make on the canvas. Don't overcomplicate things. Keep it simple. Stylize your text as you see in your inspiration. Make a simple menu. Keep the proportions of the header and the body like in the example. This way, you won't have beginner mistakes. This is why inspiration is key. You don't have the experience to come up with the designs by yourself, and there's no shame in that. What you need is a bit of help with your layouts and proportions until you gain more experience. The crucial aspect you should not overlook is copying a design. You are not allowed to do that. You may not use any template off the internet. You may not recreate a design in Photoshop after a picture and label it as your own. Doing this will get you into big trouble and fast. You will be discovered sooner than you think, and when that happens, you will be banned. Permanently. You can use a background color from another site, since nobody owns any color code. You may use a certain layout you've seen and even the same text positions and proportions. But there's a very clear line between being inspired and stealing. Don't cross it. In this course, you'll have a lot of projects of mine. They act as inspiration. You should not submit them to any contest. Doing so might get you banned. I won't stress this too much, as it is clear as day. You must not submit any of my designs or any designs you find on the internet to a contest. Even if it's blind, even if it's private, no matter what, don't do it. It's like heroin. So remember, always use inspiration to get started, but never, ever copy a design and submit it as your own. Work. If you do what you love, you'll never work a day in your life. This is very true for crowdsourcing. You'll need to put in hours in order to get better and invest your resources into it. You have to realize that it's a one-man show, and it's in your hands to be a great designer. You need to get up to speed as fast as possible, because that's the hard part. So use your free time wisely. Don't watch sitcoms or play games. Instead, make a nice design. Read about a new technique. Find out what are the newest trends. This is the way you'll make thousands of dollars instead of hundreds. So put in the work day in, day out, and similar to the gym, you will see results as time goes by. Resources. The internet is full of blogs and websites that offer free material that help you in your everyday designs. You can find resources like icons, gradients, textures, and patterns. But you can also find ready-to-use main menus, pricing tables, or sliders. Just make sure to always check the license before you use them. I strongly suggest you create 2 folders on your hard drive, one for your projects and one for your resources. In the latter, you should focus on getting high-quality stock photos, super high-definition textures, icon sets, and everything you can get off the web. It's very important to grow your resources folder because as time goes by, you'll have more and more options. Currently, I have more than 80 gigabytes of resources. Why this approach? First of all, you may not buy stock photos and resell them unless you have a partnership with that website. Secondly, considering you lose a large majority of your designs, it doesn't make sense for you to buy icon sets or stock photos and then have no use for them. Some designs are very specific and require a certain unique design element. If you were to buy everything, you'd be bankrupt. Am I suggesting you steal? No, not at all. For example, we have this great website, www.psdgraphics.com. Here you'll find the most amazing icons and PSD format for your projects. They're free to download, but if you check up top at Commercial Use, you will see there is a price between $3 and $5 per element. So, it's simple. You download an amazing icon, you use it, and if your design wins, you or the contest holder should pay for the license. It doesn't make any sense to buy it without winning, but it's not okay to use his work without rewarding him. Out of $500, which is the minimum, you can spare 1%. There's no secret that you can get a lot of material off the internet, and I'm not even talking about torrents. You can just use Google and you'll see high-quality stock photos that you can easily download. Again, use these in a fair manner. This is very similar to the inspiration point. Sure, you can use the same blue for your background, and sure, you can use the same layout, but you may not recreate the same design in Photoshop and consider it your own. Having made all these notes, I strongly recommend you start gathering items. You should separate them in free and paid resources so that when you use one of them, you'll know from which folder you took them. You'll notice that as you grow your collection, you'll start knowing them off the top of your head. So, say you wanted a globe icon for your slideshow. You already know if you have one in your resources folder. Need a black texture for a background? You have that as well. Don't go overboard, though. For example, iconfinder.com is here to stay. You can always access it, so it doesn't make sense to download everything you see there, but when you get a link from a website that you don't visit often, jump right on it. Where should I get these resources? Well, initially I wanted to give you specific links, but considering how many I have in my bookmarks folder, I wouldn't know where to begin. So instead of giving you a fish, I'll teach you how to Google. Write design freebies and you'll get a bundle of websites. But just so you won't be upset, I'll share this link. designshack.net/articles/40-amazing-resources-4-design-freebies/, which is also available in your resources folder so you can browse around easily. Keep in mind that Google is your friend, and it's always best to find your own sources. Furthermore, I recommend you start following a lot of people on Twitter, since I've seen a lot of great links posted. Following 99 Designs and CrowdSpring is an absolute must because they post great links. Lastly, you will see I included a part of my resources folder. It's not even half, and sadly, they're not organized by type. You can use them in your projects, but make sure to check for their license. To do so, just upload the image into Google, and you'll most likely find the link to the original one. There you can read about the license. How will these resources help me? Well, obviously you will get your projects done quicker, but the idea is not to sew together multiple freebies to get a design. You should take a look at the details of your freebies and learn from them. I know I did, so after seeing so many amazing pricing tables, now when I need one, I just use one of my own or start from scratch. The idea is you will get accustomed to high-quality elements like menus and call-to-action buttons. After you've seen enough of them, you'll start making some of your own. Resources are like training wheels. They're not permanent. They're there to give you a boost, but not to do the job for you. And just in case you think you can pull off a win by stealing, by putting together a couple of freebies, remember that you're part of a community and you're not the only one browsing for them. At this point, I can spot a freebie from a mile away, and I always see some newbie designer try and win with them. Don't be one of those guys. A side effect of resources is that you get them from design-related websites, and these are packed full of articles about Photoshop, web design, usability, the newest trends, and basically everything that interests you. So your learning should be significantly boosted if you constantly read from these sites. Making money off your designs. You now know the tools you'll use in Photoshop, specific techniques for web design, and the principles of being a successful freelancer. You may be excited at this point and asking yourself how much money can you make off your designs. First of all, you need to practice and understand. You need to walk before you run. Having said that, if you work a couple of hours each and every day, I'd say you should win at least 1 to 2 contests per month. Strategy is an aspect you need to consider. Think of your goal. Let's say you want $4,000 per month. Now, see how that would break down. You would have to win 2 large contests of $1,500 and 2 one-page contests of $500. Or you can enter only the $500 ones, win 8, and it's the same thing. Or win 2 homepages and then offer your services for the other pages. You got a lot of options. Don't jump to conclusions that a contest with a lower prize is easier. Sometimes it's actually the opposite. People that pay big bucks are very interested in their contest and usually give better and faster feedback. Sure, there's a bit more competition, but if you're prepared to submit multiple concepts and work with the contest holder, you're on the same step as your competition. So you could invest a lot of time in one contest and take it one at a time. On the other hand, you can stretch yourself across multiple contests. Submit one concept to each one and only continue where you have at least 3 stars and good feedback. It's your decision, and as time goes by, you'll soon see you'll prefer one method over the other. But crowdsourcing isn't the only way to go. Sure, you can experiment from platform to platform, face different competitors with varying skills, but if you're a good designer and have a great portfolio, you can always do something else than participate in these contests. For example, you can sell your PSDs to certain marketplaces, like themeforest.net. Here you upload your PSD, set a price, usually about $10, and then enjoy the passive income. Why stop there? You can team up with a WordPress coder and create WordPress themes. You can also sell these at themeforest.net, and the price is usually $35. You'll see people buying these like crazy, so making $10,000 to $20,000 isn't that unusual. You do need a great design and a great coder, though. Usually, the partnership goes 60-40, the coder getting more since he has to work a bit more. So that's another option to consider. But in case you don't want to sell on any marketplace, you can just start your own theme site. You can also start up a web design business. You make the design based on a brief the client fills out, and a coder you hire will implement it. The main difference is that you get to keep all the money, since most crowdsourcing websites charge 20% of the prize from the contest holder, and you have complete control over the entire process. If you don't want to hire a coder, you can always use websites that convert PSDs to HTML or WordPress or Drupal or whatever platform the client wants. These agencies are experts at implementing designs. They have great turnarounds and low prices. But that's not all. You can use sites like elance.com or Odesk to get jobs too. So you can see why I said in the first video that this is a life skill. Once you have mastered the tools and understand the concepts, you'll see a lot of opportunities open up. Going back to crowdsourcing, you have to keep in mind that most contest holders want more work on the side. For that, you have to show your willingness to do that after the contest is completed, for a set price, of course. So although you may see I've only made about $30,000 in official winnings on 99 designs, I've actually made more than 50 there by having a good relationship with my contest holders. I obviously have a verified PayPal account, and I can invoice them. I speak English decently. I'm on Skype quite a lot, and I always reply very fast via email. These make for a great relationship with the client, and be sure that they'll notice. So, next time you win that $500 homepage, think about getting another $1,000 for the interior pages. Entrepreneurs also have friends that are in the business as well, and if you make a good impression, they'll surely recommend you to them. So as you see, it's not all about winning a certain number of contests per month. It's actually creating a strategy through which you can have a steady income by doing something you enjoy. I hope you're excited because this course is not over. In the next chapters, you'll see Christian make crowdsourcing projects and explain his thought process. I'll leave you with him. Good luck.